Well, I hadn't even posted your morning video yet because it was 30 minutes long. I've been going all day, as you guys may have noticed. I missed the qualifier today. That was because of the traffic going through Buffalo. So I didn't have any time. Ollie was 10 minutes late to his football practice. We were just running around. I got here literally, by the time I got back here, Amy was right. I should have got his football gear before I went to pick him up from the house in Brunswick. By the time we get to Brunswick, got back, Ollie was 10 minutes late. By the time I got to Northfield, the second was in the winner's circle. Second winner was in the winner's circle. I was in the third. So a pretty chaotic start to the evening, but the horses responded well. Purple People Eater raced good. That filly at beat her is a sire stake filly. Was second to Sugar Instead in her last start. Second to Sugar Instead in her last start, and pretty easy kind of winner. Little bit tougher competition than we're used to in that class. So Purple People Eater did as well as she possibly could, finishing second in 54-4. I don't know what her charted line was, but definitely a good, probably 56 flat, I guess. A very, very good mile for her tonight. Now, we did have a couple of kind of flat miles. Rosa and Alexandra, I would have let Aaron cut it. I was just kind of waiting for Dan Noble to duck. His horse was 10-1 and ended up winning the race and raced good first over. But Aaron ducked and was happy to retreat, and I was happy just to let her idle along on the front. You know, when we put it under closer examination, she was a little bit sick when Jason went to really train her hard this week, so they had to miss a day and train her a little bit lighter. Not to mention that she was off, like, I'm gonna guess and say 16 days, start to start. So for sure she was a little bit flat, a little bit short, and a little underwhelming. But I can tell you one thing: as we strolled past the half, I was certain I was a winner. Usually, when you had a cheaper horse or a horse that's maybe a little bit of a longer shot and gets beat fair and square, you know, you go by the half and you're like, yeah, it feels pretty good, might be okay. But when you got a nice filly, and Rosa and Alexander is a nice filly, when you get a nice filly and you get that feeling going by the half like she's going to win easy, and she gets picked off late, she feels like she was just a little bit short, it's because she was. And it's not the end of the world. It's a long summer. She's got 3/3 in a row now, 2/3 in the Buckeye division. I was very, very pleased with the way she did her work. She did everything right. She wasn't at her knee at all. She just didn't do enough. And I don't think it's one, because she can't, or two, it was her attitude or her work ethic. This filly is straight A's across the board. I think she was just a little bit short for tonight. We've been galloping her to keep her off of her knee. So I had said to Jason afterwards, you know, she felt like she could have been like a filly that did come off the virus a little bit. Yeah, I believe so. So I told him, I said 4, maybe 5 days before our next trip, we put her in the race bike and really stretch her out, and screw her down tight, because this filly just felt like she was ill-equipped to get the win tonight. And it was certainly, I'm not alluding to any fact saying, oh, it was somebody's fault. I think that little tiny bout of sickness, she a little high temp, little snot in her nose, come off her feet for a couple of days, and I think that is what cost us the win probably tonight. Had that not won, well, good on our caretakers to notice that right away also. And if that hadn't been the case, and we would have been able to train her up tight, much like we did a Gorgeous Package, then I think you would have seen a much similar result also. So not the end of the world. She was sound. She did everything right. I think she was just a little bit short. And then we know Fire and Shine. This was really, truthfully speaking, the only disappointing filly tonight. Didn't really want to blast out of there. Like, I went to go up into position, just a whole position. I wanted to get away close. To be honest, I wanted to get away in front of the 3. He's twisted around, running out behind the gate. Didn't really have great lines. I did not want to get stuck behind the 3, but I just couldn't get out ahead of him. So I had to settle to get in behind him, which forced my hand. I had to move her early. She just didn't feel good the whole way. Usually she puts you through the ringer a bit in the post parade. You know, you're trying to get her to relax. You're trying to get her just to calm down a little bit. She's a very wiry, high-strung filly. She walked in the post parade tonight. I said, wow, this filly's really come a long way. I don't know. I think she might have been a little bit under the weather tonight. Again, with these schedules that are a little fragmented, because of how they stretched the stake program out. Was she a little bit short? I can't speak to that. All I can say is that the filly that I've grown to actually like did not show up tonight. She was not present in tonight's racing. So draw her blood. We'll start there. We'll draw her blood, see what it says. But I think that maybe a little bit under the weather, I would say, and that will be found in the blood. If I'm right, then it'll be found in the blood. So we'll see. And as I said to Jason, I mean, she's not as good as Rosanna Alexander, not even close, not even remotely as close as Gorgeous Package. But with a decent finishing off the year decently, we'll get her into the Buckeye Consolation. And again, I don't think it was her work ethic tonight. When I came first over, she did what I was left with the feeling she did what she could. She just couldn't do enough. So again, get to the bottom of that. Now, the next one certainly could do enough. Fire and I wish it was Fire and Shine too. Gorgeous Package. What a nice filly. We have always everybody, even Amy, who didn't want to go with her a little bit this this winter. Of course, I would have to choke while I'm doing my video. Even Amy, who didn't really want to go with her some of the winter just because of the way she was acting up, and she was so fractious at times, and just so squirrely. She was so squirrely at times. But even Amy, everybody's come to love this filly. You gotta love an underdog story. You gotta love the Rudies, right? Everybody has to. If you don't, you're just not a nice person. That's just the way it is. You have to like when a horse that has such little to prove proves so much. And here's a filly that jogged in 54 flat tonight over that track. That is an amazing accomplishment from a throwaway lather-up filly that was purchased on Gate last year. These are the stories and these are the types of horses that make you love horse racing, right? We do our best sometimes. We look at, the breeding of the horses and how they cross and, how their conformation is and how they look and what they do. And, everything goes into the buying and purchasing of each horse, seemingly. And then you just got this horse like, put her over there. And she turns out to be Gorgeous Package. Now, she's not a sire stake filly. She's not she's not going to the Breeders' Crown or would go to the Breeders' Crown if we paid her in. No. But she's a nice filly. And she absolutely jogged. I was just going to let Ronnie sit. And then Ronnie looked over her shoulder like, are you coming? Okay, fine. And you don't have to ask twice. I removed her to the front and she just settled. And I called on her around the last. It was almost like she was waiting. Now. And it was like, all right, girl, come on. She was gone. She was awesome tonight. Just such a treat to drive. And my last and my third last drive were very, very nice horses to drive. Now, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Delicious Stone pulled up roaring. Now, when I qualified him, we scoped him after. He had a big ulcer on his palate. It's not the first time it's been there, which I don't understand because Jason has him pretty much under control. Jogging in the water, aqua treadmill, jogging in the aqua treadmill. Doesn't appear from when I talked to Jason, it didn't appear to me, and he said he jogs him himself. So it doesn't appear to me that he would have a lot of force on his jaw that would cause him to flip, to displace. But he is. For sure he is. Now this is easily fixed. Now again, he'll be scoped tomorrow morning. He could be entrapped. I just hope he's not. But more than likely, just a lot of swelling in that palate area and probably a big dirty ulcer on there. So how do we treat this ulcer? There's a number of remedies, all of which I will defer to Dr. Latessa when it comes to how he wants to treat this. I guarantee you, I thought I heard him making a noise going up to the gate, and I dismissed it right away. It was not pot. You know what he sounded like? It was the exact same situation that I went through with Memory and Imagination last year when he went to Poconos for the final. The identical thing. I thought I heard something going to the gate, and then it wasn't apparent to me until we were in the mile, and then after the mile, he was just gassed, and he was roaring. If you know what I'm talking about, you know the sound I'm talking about. It sounds like somebody stuffed socks in his nose, just roaring. So we'll get that fixed up. It's not a major thing. It certainly wasn't lameness tonight. I know exactly what it was. To the extent I don't know, but none of it is long-term detrimental. Everything is fixable in the here and the now. Might take a week or so, but everything is fixable with that. Just got to figure out one, how do we stop from doing it? How do we clean this up and keep it clean? But before we get to that part, how do we fix it now? What's the prognosis now, today? How do we fix this, get it right? And then what steps can we take that we don't have to cross this bridge again? So that's where we're at with Delicious Stone. Otherwise, he was fine mechanically. He did everything right, just not his air right. We can fix that. And it's not like he was a runaway and I'm like, he just shut his air off. No, this was something else. This was present long before the race. Going up to the gate, I could hear him doing it, and he wasn't overly aggressive with me in the post parade. So I think this is something that's been mounting, but I just don't know. I don't know why. Jason said he was fine 2 days ago. He would have been in the aqua treadmill yesterday. He certainly wouldn't have done it in the aqua treadmill. So I don't really know what to say, but I know we can fix it. And then we went with our old buddy Militant. Both Jason and I were just so impressed with this colt. You know, to come from being just rather ordinary last year to being okay this year, but now excelled in this condition claiming rank. Now, the horses he raced against, keep in mind, you guys have to understand too, the class that he was in last week in Kentucky was a class that Pickpocket won. What was going on here? Could you get brighter lights, do you think? Goodness. The class that he raced in Kentucky was the class Pickpocket won. There's no slouches there. Certainly not the same class he raced in tonight. But when you put him in with these horses, it's almost like he knows, right? He absolutely jogged tonight. I turned him loose in the last turn, and he was trotting hard as he could. It's a nice feeling to know the horses, one, are fluid, two, they're dialed in, and three, they're doing their work the best they can. It's certainly a great feeling. So very happy with Militant. Very, very happy with Gorgeous Package. I was happy enough with Rose Run Alexandra. Trust me when I tell you, I know exactly what it was, and we can rectify it. She just needs to be drilled on just a little bit more, just needs to be tightened up a little bit more. And then again, take her blood. Make sure there isn't something going on. You might be able to find a little bit of a high GGT or a white count on her. Nothing with her is not quickly reversible in the here and now. And also, to that point, she was not even remotely as she could be, as good as she could be, or even is, that I know she is tonight. I'm going to say she was at about 80 to 85% tonight, ability-wise. So factor in training her up tight or having her back-to-back races. Factor in making sure she's healthy. And then I think that would be the difference between the 100% where I think she was tonight, 80 to 85, truthfully speaking. Very happy with her. Very happy with Purple People Eater. She did everything she possibly could. And Fire and Shine, flat, wasn't as good. Here's what we can do. Just put her right in the maiden claimer. That's what we can do next week, where she will win. We have tons of options with Fire and Shine. I'm not concerned at all. She's not as good as the other two fillies. We're going to continue to race her in the Buckeyes because we'd like to be able to make the Buckeye consolation with her. Finish off her year on a good note. She still reminds me so much of my fancy. Like, she's going to be a useful 3-year-old pacing filly. I rather like her. She's grown on me. And then Delicious Stone, as I said, pitch the race. I know for sure what happened. I know for sure it's treatable, and I'm certain we can treat it quite easily. But again, I'll defer to Jason and Dr. Latessa on 1, the diagnosis, and 2, the treatment, starting immediately tomorrow. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys had a wonderful night. Very proud of what took place tonight. The barn was good. Could always be better, but could always be worse. I will talk to you all soon. Looking forward to tomorrow. He's not even listening to me. I bought him and I tickets tomorrow to. So I'm 47. When when I was 20. Hootie and the Blowfish, Alanis Morissette. Those were the cool groups, bands, singers. And when I was living in Detroit, Hootie and the Blowfish was huge. Always followed them and always followed Darius Rucker. I'm not a big concert guy. I just never went to a lot. I've been to one in my life. And I saw that Hootie and the Blowfish, who I would love to see play, is playing in Akron tomorrow. Now, I've known it for a while. Amy and I were going to go. We were going to go to the concert. And, of course, Addie has swim camp. So, Ollie's over here with me. I figured Ollie and I will go to Hootie and the Blowfish tomorrow in Akron. You're going to see me book off the 13th race tomorrow. I'm going to ask the judges for a little leniency. I'm going to race in race 11, drive our horses tomorrow, race in race 11, and then take off. I should be able to make that concert on time if I do so. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. We have lots going on tomorrow. High hopes this tomorrow. Just looking for, again, we're just trying to finish off the year. Not quite with a bang yet. There's still a little work to be done yet. But get her moving in the right direction. I've been happy with what I've seen from her. And I just want to see her continue to move forward. Last week was not her fault. She did her work best she could. Can't fault her for that. She didn't touch other thumps. Tim has been treating that. She'll be fine. What a lady, what a night. Excited to watch her race tomorrow. She's coming off a big race. Her first start. Brandon Bates is driving her. Good luck to them. Country Dancing, you want to know how tough the Stallion Series division is. Look no further than her. She went faster than any other filly, I believe, in her race tomorrow. Won a maiden in 53 flat by 6 lengths, and she is 6-1 morning line tomorrow, which baffles me, but it is what it is. Casanova Hall. I'm finally going to get a look under the hood of Casanova Hall tomorrow. Excited about that series. Dragging through the outside, not a bad thing. Don't worry, you can leave hard from the outside at the Meadows. It's a slanted gate. You'll be going out of there tomorrow. Allie's Got Grit is in tomorrow. Who's driving Allie's Got Grit tomorrow? Casey Leonard is driving Allie's Got Grit. So good luck to Casey. Another thing was a little surprising. James picked over Resolve Indeed tomorrow. I don't understand that play, but it looks to me like Resolve Indeed's going to maul the one that he picked, but whatever. Collector S is in tomorrow. What do we got here? 7-2 morning line. Chris Lems is going to drive him. Well, good luck to Chris and Collector. And then Princess Dream's going to close out the night. Another one baffling. Somehow James ended up back on Princess Dream, so he lost the drive. That's the way it goes. And that will be tomorrow's race card. Thursday after the races, Doughhead and I are going to go to a concert. And then Friday morning, we're going to wake up. Ollie's baseball tournament starts Friday. For those of you who keep asking, when are you going to be in PEI? When are you going to be? I'm going to tell you my itinerary in PEI. This is what's going to happen when I land. I'm going to fly out of, I'm going to watch Ollie play Friday. I'm going to watch him play his first of 3 games Saturday morning. And then I'm going to catch a plane to PEI. I'm going to land at 6:30. I will go directly to Maid Marian's steak sandwich, first off. Then I will order 3 donairs for after the races. Win, lose, or draw, I am going to fill my face after the races with donairs. I have a 6:30 flight to come back to Ontario on Sunday to watch him play, hopefully, in Sunday's part of the tournament. Now, on the off chance they don't make it to the final, which is highly unlikely, they just beat the best team in their division, swept the series. But if they don't, I'll hang around PEI, maybe change my ticket to Sunday night. But as of right now, I think Sunday morning, 6:30, I'll be back in Ontario by 8. I will be in Waterloo to watch him play at noon or thereabouts, and close out the week. Now we have, Mark just told me he can't drive. Arrowhead, Hanover, Manhattan Money. Brady Brown is going to fill in. You may say, why Brady Brown? Well, 2 reasons. One, Brady's a good kid and a good driver. Does a real good job. Always has done a good job for us. And 2, more to the point, there's not a lot of drivers in Philadelphia on Sunday. This weekend in particular, everybody in all the drivers' colonies, okay, let me put it this way. All the top drivers are spread everywhere. I'd asked Tim Tetrick if he was going to be able to drive for us this weekend. No, Mark couldn't. Scotty can't. James is in the Poconos and Ontario. So Chris Christopher is going to drive Chicago Hall. I'm perfectly fine with that. Chris has done a great job with our horses. Brady Brown's going to drive our horses on Sunday. Scott Zeron's going to take over the lines of country dancing. But you know what? All professionals, all going to put in a good effort. What we have to overcome is certainly not the drivers this week. It's the post positions. We got a tough road ahead for the big races. 7 and 8 with Rock Shining Star and Save America. 9 with Chicago Hall. Not where we wanted to draw, but you know what? That's horse racing. So with that, you guys are going to get both the videos. One I made from this morning, and the second one I just made just now at 12:35 at night. At 12:35 at night. He's still awake. I will talk to you all very soon. Hope you had a great day. I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow.